Die Protestbewegung im Iran hatte bei vielen die Hoffnung auf einen Regimewechsel in Teheran genährt. Einer, der die Proteste im Iran angefeuert hat, ist Reza Pahlavi, der Sohn des 1979 gestürzten Schahs. Und mit ihm habe ich ausführlich gesprochen. Reza Pahlavi, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
Tens of thousands took to the streets. Thousands of people were killed during the protests. You fueled those protests. Some of the people called your name. How do you handle this responsibility?
We are, for the first time in years, at full war against a regime that has declared war on its own citizenry. I don't call it a protest anymore. It is a genuine revolution for a nation that is tired of 46 years of religious dictatorship and tyranny. The number of victims is really a massacre in darkness when they cut off communications to the whole world and they take on brave young Iranians who have been fighting and asking for their freedom. It has been horrendous, the reports that we have gotten over the last few days of the extent of the massacre this regime has extended. But when you are at war, you are prepared to fight until the very end, and there's no point of return for us. So we all are committed to liberate our country. We only hope that the free world will come to our help. And this time, instead of appeasing this regime time and again, this time they will stay with the Iranian people and make sure that we can put an end to this regime and finally liberate ourselves.
The US President Trump is again considering military attacks. Do you expect a US intervention?
All options, as the president said, is on the table. We believe that a rapid and necessary strike to dismantle the regime's mechanism and apparatus of repression, that means targeting IRGC and other elements tied to the regime machinery of repression, would be a very effective way to weaken the regime and make it impossible for them to use the level of brutality that we have seen against unarmed civilians. That's the only time that you can actually help this nation, giving them a fair chance to succeed, if indeed the objective is to on the one hand, provide our nation with freedom, but as an element, unlike this regime that has always been hostile to the West, and in particular to the United States, a nation where the Iranian people want to live at peace in the region and work with their neighbors and provide that level of tranquility and stability that is the best strategic interest of the Western countries, including the United States. And I think this is something that Donald Trump understands fully.
Has he offered his help for you personally?
I'm not asking for any personal endorsement from any leader anywhere in the world. What I do ask them to do is to help the Iranian people and respond to their appeal for help. This is the best way that the world can help us. And I, of course, have offered to help my compatriot at their call to lead this transition, move beyond this regime, and bring it to its ultimate conclusion, which hopefully will be a secular democratic system in Iran once we can organize free elections. We have a plan for that, which is quite extensive, and Iran's prosperity project that has various phases to do that. We would like to work with all those who are willing to help and assist us in that process. So there's a lot going on as we speak. But first and foremost, we'll have to see in what way the response will occur and how soon can Iranians be in a better position to then push for the ultimate move. Everything will be riding to a great extent on this intervention that everybody is awaiting.
For some, you're seen as a beacon of hope, but with all respect, there is no proof of how many people really support you. So what makes you more than a self-proclaimed future leader?
Millions of people came to the streets in Iran, in the four corners of Iran. By the millions, they were chanting my name. They were saying Pahlavi barmigarde, which means Pahlavi will return. They've been chanting, Iran is ready now, give us orders, Shahzadeh. And my name was chanted. It's written on the walls. I don't know how much more evidence do you need to have a proof that I have actually the support of millions of my compatriots who have called me by name, who have asked me to step in, and I have. So I have no doubt in my mind that this support is definitely out there. What the world needs to understand is that I'm here to help with the transition. I'm not running for office. I'm not asking for anything in return. But I know and understand how crucial my role could be to be that agent of change, as a father to the nation and as a servant to the people. And that is my commitment to them. And I think that's why they trust me and that's why they call me, because they know that for the past 46 years, I have never, ever wavered from this commitment beyond my words in action. And that's why today's Gen Z of Iran comes to me, call me as a father, and want me to lead them to the final victory. Mm-hmm. And I'm ready to do my part.
Let me ask you, you have critics who fear that upon a possible return to Iran, you will aim at forming perhaps a new autocracy, possibly a new Pahlavi dynasty. So in what respect do you distance yourself from your father's way of governing?
First of all, there are some critics that are obviously parroting the narrative of a regime that would try to do anything from smear campaigns to lies to all sorts of accusations that are totally unfounded. Look, I lived the better part of my life for the past 46 years in the Western world, in democratic countries. I understand the importance and the values of all the institutions and the mechanisms to make sure that you cannot deviate from that, where there's no concentration of power, when you can fight back corruption, how important transparency is, and everything else in between. This is something that we will utilize as tools to strengthen our institution, to bring our civil society into the picture, well beyond the structure of governance. How would I possibly be someone that would not understand the importance of it? And because I understand it and I've learned it in practice, that's exactly what I'd like to bring back to Iran. So we as Iranians are guaranteed in the future to have self-determination, to have freedom. But as to the measure of what will determine the future, there's nothing other than the ballot box that ultimately will decide it. So I wonder if these critics are just as committed to democracy as I am. Because if they are believing in democracy, then they shouldn't fear the ballot box. My question to them is, do you fear the result of the ballot box? I don't.
So are you still planning to get back to Iran? And how?
Well, how I get there, I'm working on it, but I'd like to be there even before the regime collapses, if possible. But I'll be there sooner than we think, able to help my compatriots and lead us to the next phase.
Reza Pahlavi, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Du hast das Video bis zu Ende geschaut? Dann kannst du auch ein Abo dalassen.